Watch yourself. Watch out. Careful. My name is Cyril Chauquet, and I spend my life traveling to the most remote areas of the world.
The waves, watch out!
Chasing monster fish.
That's a big bag.
This time, my mission is to catch a massive creature that can grow to almost 16 feet long, the giant freshwater stingray. Quite possibly, the largest freshwater fish on the planet.
Feels like I'm pulling a truck of the block.
And its enormous size isn't the only challenge. It's armed with a super sharp barb, coated with a dangerous venom, similar to rattlesnakes. And that can lead to amputations or even death for anyone who gets too close.
And it can cause a heart attack.
There's still no cure for the devastating effects of the venom.
It's a monster.
And that's why I'm here. I want to help scientists create an antidote.
I'm gonna try to do my best.
Good luck.
But for that, I'll have to catch these giants and get really close to their dangerous barbs to collect the venom.
I think we're about to see a monster fish. Potentially the biggest freshwater fish in the world.
I'm in Thailand on a mission to catch what could be the largest freshwater fish on the planet, the giant freshwater stingray. And these fish are massive. They can get well over 1,000 pounds, imagine. And on the tail of the fish, there's a barb about this long, super sharp and packed with dangerous venom. But to do what I came here for, I'm gonna have to get really close to that barb.
The giant freshwater stingray is a mythical fish, and a massive one. It can measure over 16 feet in length and weigh over 1,000 pounds.
It's paralyzing my hand.
A long time ago in Honduras, I made a stupid mistake and stung myself with the barb of a marine stingray. The pain was horrible, but I was lucky. Not much venom entered my wound. The stingray's venom is potentially deadly for humans, and since I've already had first-hand experience with it, when I was contacted for this mission, I knew it was something I had to do. That's why I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, to meet Dr. Ning, a scientist that specializes in aquatic animals, and especially the giant freshwater stingray. For years, Dr. Ning has worked with the Red Cross to help him create an anti-venom. The goal? To protect the local population from the terrible effects of the ray's sting. So I'll be helping our team by collecting venom from these massive animals.
Dr. Ning,
Oh, hello.
how are you?
Fine.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah, finally, this is happening.
Right, so are you ready for this?
Yeah. Well, I came here just for that.
I have
Just
something to
help
show you. This is what you're gonna have to deal with.
Wow, that's the barb.
That's a stingray barb.
The barb is lined with smaller razor-sharp barbs, designed to penetrate flesh and become stuck there.
So if it stabs to you and you try to get it out, it will make your wound much worse.
It'll make a mess.
See how bad? See how bad it is?
Yeah, thanks for showing me this.
Yes.
When it feels threatened, the stingray can whip its tail and stab you with its barb.
He won't come out.
Then, the venom kicks in.
Also, the venom can cause the tissue necrosis.
Tissue necrosis occurs when living tissue dies. The flesh rots and could lead to amputation.
If it gets into your vein, can cause a heart attack.
So basically, you're telling me that the best case scenario is tissue necrosis and amputation.
Amputation is the second best.
All right.
Okay. Look at it on the good side.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're careful and you get me a lot of venom, nobody is gonna have that pain anymore, and nobody is gonna have amputation, and nobody is gonna die.
Look how pointy and sharp this barb is. And the size of it, unreal. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a real challenge collecting the venom, because imagine I'm gonna have to hold the stingray's tail with one hand here, and at the same time, I'm gonna have to scrape the venom off the barb, and between the barb and the tail, along the groove. But the thing is, the stingray can whip its tail over its back and to the sides, so it can get me. So I'm gonna have to be really careful.
I'm at the Red Cross Snake Lab to meet Dr. Ning's team. They want me to collect venom from stingrays to help create an antidote. They also produce an anti-venom for the deadliest snake in Thailand, the Malayan pit viper, whose venom is similar to a rattlesnake's. It's also similar to the venom of the giant freshwater stingray, and and they want me to see how they collect it from live snakes.
This is where you collect the venom?
Yes, we do here.
Okay.
But working with these reptiles every day can be really dangerous.
Is this from a snake?
Oh, yes.
Really? And what did it feel like?
I feel burning pain at the bitten area. And then the pain starts to get expand time by time. Yes, along with the tissue necrosis on my hand.
And that's a skin graft, I guess?
We took the skin from here and made the surgery and close the wound up here.
Just like with the stingrays, to create snake antivenom, we first have to collect venom. And that's exactly what we're about to do.
Pretty aggressive, huh? I just hope he doesn't let go of the head right now. Look at the amount of venom he collected. Getting that same amount from stingrays in the wild, that'll take me a while. Is it really gonna help a lot of people, you think? If we have an anti-venom for stingray?
You have the antivenom, so sure, it's better than no.
Are you sure? Because maybe I could just go fish for stingray and not worry about the venom, but you really need more.
Yeah, we need a lot of steps to do more research, and for production, we need a large amount of the venom.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to do my best.
Yes, take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
This morning, I leave Bangkok to head to the Ampawa district, about 50 miles to the southwest. Ampawa is known as one of the best spots to find giant freshwater stingrays, and Dr. Ning has put me in touch with a fisherman that was actually stung by one, and who knows how painful its venom can be.
Sawadee krap. Kyak?
Piak is a Baramonian giant prawn fisherman on the Mekong River, and apparently, he had an encounter that I'll never forget.
Graben? ใหญ่
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 ตกปลากระพงอยู่นี่ปลากระเบนมันมาติดก็เลยเอามือไปกดเบ็ดมันก็เลยเฉือน
Yeah?
บาด
Oh, and slashed its tail and got you in the arm.
อ๋อมันก็ปวดประมาณ2 วันน่ะ48 ชั่วโมงใช่ไหม
Wow. That's confirmation that the stingray venom is really powerful. Imagine, he describes the pain as being a searing pain, as if he was being burned by a hot poker. And he couldn't work for 2 months.
ถ้าโดนตัวคงตายไปแล้วใช่ปะนี่มันปวดมาก
Piak's wound was terrible, but it could have been much worse. He's heard of another fisherman that wasn't so lucky.
ตัดแขนตาย
Cut his arm?
ครับตัด
From what? From the infection? And he died. I don't know if I want to go fishing anymore. Yeah, I have to go to the river, catch the fish, fight the stingray, grabeng, and then take the venom and collect the venom really close to the barb.
บ้า
Bye, yeah.
Piak thinks I'm a little crazy, but he's still willing to take me to the spot where he got stung, so I can try catching the stingray. And on the way, we have to catch what he thinks is one of the best baits for stingray, the giant prawn. We're on the Mekong River, which flows right through a populated area. It's crazy to think that in these murky waters, there are fish as dangerous as bull sharks and giant freshwater stingrays. Even though they know the potential dangers, the locals still have to fish these waters for their livelihoods.
All right, step 1 to catching a giant freshwater stingray, touching the bait.
เหยื่อกุ้งฝอย
Kung Fai?
อ่า
Look at the bait, I love it. A tiny shrimp to catch a giant prawn. I have to be really patient before I set the hook, because Piak was telling me that the prawns, the way they feed, is that especially if the bait is alive. If the shrimp is alive, most likely what it's going to do, it's going to attack it with its claws. And when it does that, I'll feel a jerk on the line, so I want to set the hook, but I can't do that because basically you want to wait for the prawn to take that bait all the way to its mouth. So then you can set the hook, otherwise you just pull the bait right out of their claws.
It looks like Piak's got a bite.
Whoa! All right, Piak. Woo! Finally, giant freshwater prawn. The stingray's favorite meal, according to Piak, right there. You know, actually, on a barbecue, I think it would be one of my favorite meals too. That looks pretty good. Good job. Bung yai.
Perfect. We already have a giant prawn for bait, but I'll need at least one more.
Oh.
I have a bite, but I think I missed it. Oh no, I got it. Yes!
Yes!
All right.
Yes! Now that we have enough bait, we can go for a giant freshwater stingray.
Dai kung.
ได้กุ้ง
Pai to graben.
โอเคไป let's go
Piak brings me further upstream, to the spot where we were stung by the stingray. But when we get there, I don't like what I see. There's thick mud everywhere.
There's a lot of mud. Boom.
กระเบนชอบลงไปเลยเรียกกระเบนเยอะกระเบน
Really, huh? It's good. It's good for graben. Good spot.
ได้
It's so muddy here. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to fish from the shore. Up and back.
Well, I've come all the way here to help researchers create an anti-venom that could potentially save lives. So even if it seems really crazy to fish here, I have to at least give it a shot.
Okay.
It really won't be easy fishing here. And if I catch a giant stingray, it could be super dangerous, because I'll barely be able to move to avoid the barb.
How did I get myself into this again? Well, I have a really good bait. Supposedly this is a good spot, so I'm just gonna have to wait. Give it some time.
I've been fishing for over an hour, and still nothing. But all of a sudden,
Oh, here we go.
I don't know if it's a stingray, but it's taking the bait really slowly.
Right, it's a stingray for sure. It moved just like one. I've never caught the giant freshwater kind, but I've caught marine species, and it moved just like that. They just basically sit on the bottom, and when they run, they make a quick run, move into another spot on the bottom, and just stick there. And that's what this one is doing right now. It's moving. It's hard to move this fish. And what's crazy is that it's not even a big fish. When it moves, I can tell there's not a lot of weight on the line.
I finally managed to lift the stingray off the bottom, but now I have to be really careful of the barb.
Okay, I'm moving it. It's moving.
It's too deep here. I have to get back to the shore.
I gotta be really careful because my feet are stuck in the mud. I can barely move. And the stingray's right here. Try to pull back a little bit to land in the shallow water.
The stingray's getting a little too close. I have to get out of the water to land it.
When I tell you that it's full of mud here, look.
With my feet stuck in the mud, if it decides to whip its tail while I'm collecting the venom, I can't do much to avoid getting stung. Plus, I need to be careful not to hurt it and to let it go as soon as possible.
All right, now I'm gonna run my hand along that fish's body to get to the tail and get a hold of the barb. All right, got it. Here we go. Giant freshwater stingray. Not this one in particular because it's too small to be a giant, but it's the right species. Check this out. Look at that nasty barb on this fish right here. Vicious. You don't want to get impaled by that. You see that the gooey mucus between the barb and the tail? That's the venom.
I hurried to scrape the barb, just like Dr. Ning asked me to, and try to collect as much venom as possible. without getting stung. I do my best, but it just isn't much venom on this barb. I'll need a bigger stingray if I want more.
There's not a lot of it. This ray's too small. But at least it's venom. That's what we're looking for.
I've collected as much venom as I can, so now it's time to let it go. I finally caught my first giant freshwater stingray, but it was far from the monster I'm looking for.
It's too small to be a giant, but it's the right species.
So tomorrow, I hope to catch a real giant. But right now, I'm gonna try to catch another local monster that can weigh over 600 pounds, the Mekong giant catfish. If the giant freshwater stingray really holds the title as the biggest freshwater fish in the world, I want to see this massive beast that the stingray had to beat. Unfortunately, there are very few Mekong giant catfish left in the wild. But in Thailand, there's some stock lakes where you can still fish for them.
Cool. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Oh. Whatever it is, it's big. Go on for a big fight. It's a really big fish because I started this fight in daylight. Here I am, an hour and a half later, still fighting this fish. It's a really powerful fish, really muscular. One flick of that tail and here he goes again.
It's a super intense fight, and it's starting to get some attention from the staff at the lake.
Relentless, that fish.
The land of giants, Thailand.
I love it here, but it's so hot. It's unreal. During the day, I literally fry in the sun, and at night, it's like being in a steam bath. It's so humid.
And after over 2 hours of combat, I finally managed to bring this fish to the shore.
It's here. I can't believe the size of this fish. It's huge.
One of the guys wants to give me a hand.
All right, can you rub the rod, please?
I don't have a choice. I have to get in the water to land this fish, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's huge.
Help!
Luckily, everybody's willing to jump in to help me land the fish.
Look at the size of this fish. Talk about a monster fish from Thailand. We got one right here. Mekong giant catfish. And the big difference between this guy and the stingray is that he's a vegetarian. Oh. Good job, guys.
This fish has gotta be around 300 pounds. And it's time to let it go.
Man, the size of that catfish, unbelievable. And yet, they're not even the biggest freshwater fish in the world. So I'm telling you, if the stingray really is the biggest, then they can get way bigger than the one I've seen so far.
When I caught that stingray from the shore, landing it was so tough and dangerous that it's pretty clear I need to fish from a boat. It'd be impossible to safely land a monster stingray from shore. So I've come to the floating market in Empawa. It looks like the ideal spot to find what I'm after.
Gotta find a boat, and I think I came to the right place.
This place is packed with merchants selling local food, including fresh fish. So I'm hoping that I'll find some fishermen that can take me out fishing.
สวัสดีครับ ไปตู้กระเบนไหม
ไม่ไป
กระเบนยายกระเบน
ยายโชคร้าย
โชคร้าย
โชคร้าย
Oh, he doesn't want to take me out because he says that catching stingray is bad luck. Good. Captain Cup.
Because of its immense circular shape, the giant freshwater stingray is often compared to Rahu, a Buddhist demon who causes eclipses by eating the sun. Some fishermen think they're bad luck because they can break rods and even flip boats. It definitely seems like most fishermen want to avoid him.
Man, finding a boat is turning out to be pretty complicated. The fish is either too dangerous or bad luck. One thing's for sure is that I still don't have a boat.
After spending over an hour looking for a boat, I made a few phone calls and finally have a meeting with two giant freshwater stingray fishermen. Sart and Pot apparently know the best spots to find huge stingrays.
So to have a lot of venom, I need big fish, big graben.
กระเบนใหญ่
Graben yai. I need to collect venom. It's to help people that get stung.
So that they can get an anti-venom.
แบดลัก
No bad luck. Nobody gets hurt. I catch the fish, I hold the tail.
งั้นก็ปลาตก
Okay.
I'm finally back on the river, and in a boat, fishing is gonna be much easier than having my feet stuck in the mud. I have a good feeling, and I really hope I'll catch a giant.
And look at the size of the gear that we used to catch a giant freshwater stingray. Last time I used an outfit like that, I was after sharks, big sharks. And you can use that for marlin. It's actually designed for really big fish, potentially over 1,000 pounds. And to show you the power that the stingray have, this rod, you can barely bend it. Honestly, I can barely bend it, but I'm telling you, like a giant freshwater stingray, he would put his ears bent on that rod.
It's obvious that stingrays can get truly massive, and that they are known by the locals for their bad reputation. But what's really crazy is that they live in such densely populated areas. A 6-foot water monitor lizard hunting for its next meal. The stingrays aren't the only giants around here. We arrive at a spot where the guy said that massive stingrays have been caught before.
They're good?
I build my rig with 300-pound line, and as a sinker, the guys give me a bottle filled with cement to counter the river's current. And about 20 minutes later,
Oh, here we go.
I don't think it's a stingray. He doesn't fight like a stingray. But it's not a big fish, that's for sure. Toilet? They say toilet, that means small fish.
and I think they're right, because it's not very heavy.
Oh, it's a shark. Interesting. A tiny bull shark. That goes to show you that these guys can live in freshwater. Although here it's not 100% fresh because we're close to the ocean, so it's brackish. But they can live in 100% fresh water. They can swim up the rivers in tropical climates of the world. It's not the desired species, but I love this fish. It's always cool to catch a shark.
The bull shark is considered one of the most dangerous sharks on the planet. And pound for pound, they have the most powerful bite force of any shark. If I catch a big stingray, we'll have no choice but to get in the water to collect the venom. So on top of the raised barb, we'll also have to watch for bull sharks.
Woo. Hot.
We've spent almost half the day anchored to this spot, and still no sign of stingrays. But all of a sudden,
Here we go.
this time, the fish sticks to the bottom. It's definitely not a bull shark.
I don't know if it's a big fish, but they're flat, right? So as soon as they reach the bottom, it creates a suction effect. So it's really hard to move them from the bottom. All right, got it up the bottom. Now it's moving.
Stingray's flat bodies also create a lot of resistance in the water. So even though this one doesn't feel very big, it's still hard work to pull it up.
Here it is. It's too small. It's not gonna be enough venom.
This is a small stingray, so we can bring it on board to collect the venom. But I don't want Sart to get stung, so I give him the head.
You wanna get the spiracles?
Please.
And I get the tail,
Yeah.
okay?
And I take the dangerous end.
All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Woo.
Check it out. It's got 2 barbs, actually.
Look, you definitely don't want to get nailed by this tail.
In theory, the bigger the stingray, the bigger the barb. And on a massive fish, the barb can be over 8 inches long.
I'm really gonna have to catch a bigger fish because there's almost no venom on this one. I mean, there's enough to hurt you, but not enough for me to collect. Look at the size of the eyes compared to the size of the fish. Very tiny. And it's because they don't really rely on their eyes to hunt. They use sensors on the front of the head. The front of the head is full of sensors to probe the bottom for food and prey.
This one is not very big, but there are definitely some giants down there. So hopefully next time, we catch a monster. So far, I've caught 2 giant freshwater stingrays, but neither one of them was a real giant. To increase our chances of catching the big one, Saw thinks we should find some live bait. But before we do, I have to make a quick stop.
Dr. Ning,
Hello.
how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Look what I got for you.
Wow, thank you so much. This is going to help my research a lot.
You think?
Yes.
I was concerned. I was worried that it was not gonna be enough, but
Oh,
That's enough?
This is great, and I can always use some more.
you want
so
more, in
much.
other words. So I gotta get more stingray.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Back on the water. And the first thing to do is find some live bait.
There's a fisherman on the shore over there. We'll see if he has fresh bait.
Là? Yeah?
I think we've lucked out.
Oh, good fisherman. All right, check this out. A bunch of little fresh catfish. Really frisky, really lively. That's exactly what we want, because the more lively they are, the more they move on the bottom, the easier it is for the stingray to find them.
200
200? No, 100.
100
Yeah?
okay.
Perfect. We have some live bait. So we head out again after giant freshwater stingrays.
Scorching sun. It's so hot, you have no idea. It's got to be close to 99% humidity in the air and close to 100 degrees. Well, when you're looking for the biggest freshwater fish in the world, you can't expect to get a bite every 5 minutes. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. But this is a really good area. Apparently monsters have been caught here, so in theory, it should be just a matter of time before a monster stingray finds that bait and takes it. Oh.
It's not a very strong bite, but you never know. It could still be a monster stingray.
Here we go. Guys, we got a big fish on the line. I can't barely move it.
I'm sure it's a big stingray. And I think I'm in for quite a fight.
Playa, huh? That means big fish.
There's no doubt about it. This is much bigger than anything I've caught on the strip so far.
I think I'm gonna have to put a harness on to support my back in this fight. It's really intense.
After over an hour fighting, this beast is close to the surface.
The tail's right here.
But the fight is not over yet.
Watch out! Yeah.
And finally,
They're gonna use the net to secure the fish. Both side.
the only way to control this big stingray and to make sure it doesn't hurt itself is to use a net to keep it close to the boat. We slowly bring it to a shallow area to be able to safely handle it and collect its venom. And Sart's friends show up to help out, just in case. It's a big barb. I'm gonna have to be very careful collecting its venom.
Imagine that's a monster fish, but for the species, it's not even a giant.
I'm hoping to get one much bigger than this. But this is still at least a 200-pound fish. And now, I gotta collect its venom. I can't let go of its tail. It would be super dangerous.
Look at the size of that barb. It's gotta be 10 inches long.
And it's covered in venom.
Thank you.
We gotta be careful. The fish is calm now, but you never know.
really don't want this on a cut or in an open wound.
This fish is pretty big, and its barb is full of venom. So I can't even imagine how much venom I could get from a true giant.
There's something I found real interesting about stingrays is the way they breathe, because their mouth is located underneath the fish, and they spend most of their time on the bottom, stuck on the bottom, so they couldn't breathe through the mouth. That's why they have two openings here on top of the head that are called spiracles. Right next to the eyes, see those two openings? That's the water intake of the fish, so that they take water in through the spiracles and push the water through the gills that are located underneath the fish. That way they can breathe on the bottom.
Dr. Ning also asked me to measure the big stingrays I catch, but that won't be easy, and it would be impossible to do it alone.
343 centimeters. That's more than 11 feet long. Wingspan, almost 150 centimeters. That's almost 5 feet wide. That's a big fish. Thanks, guys.
All right, it's now time to release this amazing creature. That was a really big stingray. But there are even bigger ones around here, with even more venom. But we have to head in for today. Dr. Ning wants me to help her out this evening. Dr. Ning often cares for fish in aquariums, and there's one stingray that needs treatment. But to treat it, we have to dive in a tank full of stingrays, and I have to wrap its barb so that she can inject it with medicine. I'm a little nervous though, because people have died while diving with stingrays.
Hello, Cyril.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Are you ready to do this?
I think so, but what's going on in there exactly? What do you want me to do? Because I'm not sure
I have a sick ray in there, but I would like you to join me and then help me. There are so many rays in there, so you must be very careful and focused.
Dr. Ning has to inject a sick ray, and she needs another person to help her. And since I dive, she wants me to secure the animal's barb so that she doesn't get stung while giving the injection.
I guess I would have to sneak up from behind the stingray and grab it by the tail and grab the barb?
Exactly.
Because that's if you step on one, that's when they can whip that tail and get you, right?
Right. You will be my safety officer. Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
Catching a giant freshwater stingray and collecting its venom is already super dangerous. But wrapping a stingray's barb while it's swimming and then injecting it with medicine, that's even more intense. There are many other giant fish in this aquarium, including plenty of other stingrays. Once we've located the stingray, I have to wrap its barb. But since the animal is sick, you never know how it's gonna react. It's really dark in here. We can't see very far. And the sick stingray could be hiding anywhere. We finally spot it. I slowly try to get closer. But the stingray turns and is right in front of me. I don't really like being this close to its barb, but we need to help it. I try grabbing its tail, but it takes off. It's a little stressful sneaking up on a stingray, because I know that a sting from even a fish this size can be super dangerous. I finally catch up and try to wrap the barb, but the stingray swims off again, and now he looks really agitated. I get in his blind spot. Finally, I think I have it. But I guess not. We're getting low on air. It's time for plan B. We're gonna try to inject the medication without wrapping the stingray's barb first. But to do that, I have to control the fish while Dr. Ning gives it the injection. Our first attempt fails, and the stingray swims off to hide. But we're running out of time, so I block the fish with my fins. And finally, she gets it. It was really intense, but we finally managed to help the stingray. Today, I'm going back on the Mekong River to track down a massive giant freshwater stingray. We caught a nice one yesterday, But these fish can get much bigger. Everyone seems to use different baits for stingray.
Giant freshwater prawn, the stingray's favorite meal, according to Piak.
And after that, it was live catfish.
Check this out, a bunch of little fresh catfish. Really frisky, really lively. But now apparently the best bait for stingray is a fish called snakehead. But it can't be too big, and he has to be alive. So I think it's gonna be a challenge finding one.
The snakehead is a super voracious ambush predator that can even crawl on land from one river to the next.
Fish on.
I've already caught some in Florida, where they're invasive and pose a threat to local fish populations. But here in Thailand, snakeheads are a respected native predator. For stingray bait, I need small snakeheads, so I'm gonna try a fly rod with a tiny fly. I need small bait, because even though giant freshwater stingrays can become true giants, they have relatively small mouths.
Fish on. It's a snakehead, but I'm afraid it's a little too big for what I need. All right, snakehead. The only problem is that it's too big. I don't say that often, but it needs to be half the size, if not a third of that size. That would be perfect for bait, but this guy is a little too big.
I think catching a small snakehead is gonna be really tough. So, I'm gonna try to find some at the market. There are lots of dead fish here, but with some luck, I'll find some small live snakeheads.
สวัสดีครับมีเล็กๆแผ่นๆ No? No.
I don't think I'll tell him that I couldn't catch a single small one.
That's too bad, because that's exactly what I need. Those are snakeheads. But they're too big and he doesn't have any live ones. สวัสดีครับ มี shadow ไหมครับ เล็ก
ไม่มี ต้องไปหาตกเอง
I know. Excellent. She says if I want a snakehead, I gotta go catch it myself. She doesn't have any snakeheads, but at least she's got some live fish. Cool.
These are catfish. They might be a little big, but I know catfish work, so I grabbed the smallest one she has.
Kapun clap.
We're back on the Mekong, and Sart really wants to help me collect the most venom possible. So he's taking me to a spot where huge stingrays have been seen before. Another hot and humid day on the river, and we've been waiting for hours.
Oh, here we go.
The fish takes off quickly and then sticks to the bottom.
Fish on.
It's definitely a stingray, and a big one. I think I'm in for a long fight.
I know it's a fish because it moves, but I'm telling you, it feels like I'm pulling a truck off the bottom. I don't know how big it is yet, but it's a big fish. A lot of weight on that fish.
I think it's the heaviest fish I've ever fought in freshwater. And this fight's not over yet.
I've fought some big fish before. A big fish. But I'm telling you, it's unreal. There's already a lot of tension on that line, but I just want to push that drag up a little bit to be able to lift that fish up from the bottom. But it's risky because if I do that, I might put too much pressure on the line and break the line off. Or if the fish takes off on the run, it could pull me overboard. And that's not a good scenario at all.
I've been fighting this fish for over an hour, and I don't think I've gained an inch.
Oh yeah, okay, I got it off the bottom.
ชอบใจ
Finally, it comes up the bottom. Now, I have to keep the pressure on to stop it from going back down. My arms are exhausted, and my back hurts. but the fish is still fighting hard.
The hardest part is not even the arms. It's my back. It's killing my back right now.
I've been fighting this fish for about 2 hours now. If I manage to win this fight, it's gonna be inch by inch.
But he wants to go back on the bottom, I'm telling you that.
After more than 2 hours of this relentless tug-of-war, it's time to end this.
Yep, it's coming up. It's coming up. Yes. Just want to take a little bit of venom off your tail, off your barb, and let it go.
It's almost at the surface, but it tries to dive again. But I managed to stop it.
I think we're about to see a monster fish, potentially the biggest freshwater fish in the world.
The weight surfaces. The stingray is right there.
Oh yeah, it's here. Look at the size of this fish.
The monster I've been chasing is finally here.
Good job.
In freshwater, I've never had such an intense fight with a fish. I'm really beat, but I can't let up, because now I'm gonna have to get really close to this giant's barb.
The stingray is secured in the net now, so we're gonna bring it to shore to take the venom sample and measure that fish.
I have to admit, I'm a little nervous. The last stingray that I collected venom from was much smaller than this one, and it was already pretty hard to control. Once again, Sartre and Pod have called a friend to help us out. We're gonna try to control the stingray so that I can safely collect its venom. This animal is huge. It must weigh close to 500 pounds.
This is it! What could be potentially the biggest freshwater fish in the world. Giant freshwater stingray.
The stingray still has a lot of fight left. We can barely hold on to it.
Watch yourself. Watch out!
We can't lose it. We have to calm it down to collect the venom and measure it for duck and ink.
Look at the amount of venom on that barb. I can barely see the barb. It's covered with venom.
The stingray's resting, at least for now. If it decides to fight as I collect the venom, it could be really dangerous. I don't want to put Sart in danger. I have to collect the venom alone.
That's definitely the most venom I've got so far. Dr. Ning is gonna be super happy.
I'll work as quickly as possible while the team holds the stingray.
That's a lot of it.
The first step is done, and I got a lot of venom. Now, we rub the barb so we can measure the stingray. It's gonna be really tough. This fish is big and strong. The sun has set, and we still haven't measured this fish. Everybody except Sart has left, so we have no choice. We have to do it with just the two of us.
220 centimeters. That's more than 7 feet long.
Now, we have to remove the tail wrap, so we don't leave it defenseless. The stingrays had plenty of time to rest, so now we can let it go.
Yeah.
I think I will start big time for this.
Thank you, my friend. Cup and clap. You're tired, huh?
I've come to one of the most populated rivers in Thailand to try to catch what could be the biggest freshwater fish in the world.
Telling you, it feels like I'm pulling a truck off the bottom.
And collect venom from its dagger-like barb. The goal, protect the people that live and work on the river. It was really intense, but with some nice surprises along the way.
Look at the size of this fish.
And it was definitely among the most brutal fights of my entire life.
It's my back. It's killing my back right now.
And thanks to the help of some amazing people, not only did I collect some venom samples for Dr. Ning,
Wow, thank you so much.
but I also caught a massive giant freshwater stingray.
This is it. What could be potentially the biggest freshwater fish in the world. you see what I was telling you, that there's a little bit of mud on the bottom?
I need a massage, please.
What a mess.
Don't worry, Piak. I got it.